Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Raj here, and today we are going to be covering what Apple released as of recently. So as you can see here is the new MacBook Air. It has twice the speed and twice the storage, and now it is at $1,000 rather than it being at $1,100. So they shaved off $100 off the price, and this is what is brand new with it. It is up to 2 times faster. It has Touch ID, obviously, in the power button right here. It has the quad-core i7 processor with Intel Iris Plus graphics, of course. Has the Retina display, of course, and it also now has the new Magic Keyboard, which the Magic Keyboard is just very, very nice. It uses the scissor switch mechanism rather than the butterfly mechanism. So people prefer, at least in general, people prefer the scissor switch over the butterfly switch. Now, me personally, I like both. So that is that. Then obviously now it has macOS Catalina, which most Macs obviously do, even the last MacBook Air. It has up to 2 terabytes of storage now, which is insane for a laptop this thin. It has all-day battery life, and it has Thunderbolt 3, which is also, again, pretty obvious. So, that is the MacBook Air. Now, let's move on to the iPad Pro. This was probably the highlight of yesterday, because I'm recording this a day after all of this was unveiled. But this was probably the biggest highlight of yesterday was the iPad Pro. So it says here, I like this little motto here, it says, "Your next computer is not a computer." I love that motto, it's great. And it starts from $800, of course. So same price as the last generation. So as you can see here, you do see a lot of nice little changes here. So you can see the iPad Pro right there, which looks pretty identical, I would say, to the last generation. But what you will notice is that this case here is new. This is the new Magic Keyboard case, and this comes out, as you can see here, basically in May. And then the iPad Pro is available this month on the 25th, which this month is March, if you didn't know that already. So, and then there's the Apple Pencil as well right there, of course, Gen 2, which is unchanged. And then you have, obviously, all your other iPads right there, the comparisons and all of that. So here are the specs of this new iPad Pro. So it still comes in the 2 sizes as the last generation, so 12.9 and 11 inches, respectively. It has a Liquid Retina display with ProMotion, which, if you don't know what ProMotion is, it's basically Apple's version of the screen being 120 hertz. So it's a variable refresh rate, meaning that if you're doing something that is supposed to be only in 60 hertz, it will stay in 60 hertz. That's most of our phone screens today. They just stay at 60 hertz. Whereas if you're, like, say, on the home screen of the iPad Pro or in any app that supports 120 hertz, then it will make it seem like it's a lot snappier. So, honestly, once you have messed around with 120 hertz, it's kind of awkward going back to 60 hertz. I would know because I messed around with an iPad Pro, obviously, in person. I'm sure many of you have as well, but if you have not, I highly suggest doing so. It's really just something magical. And then, as you can see here, it has the new A12Z Bionic chip. Pretty interesting name, I would say, so. It has the Pro cameras with the new LiDAR sensor, which, if you don't know what LiDAR stands for, it's light detection something. I totally forgot, I'm sorry. But it basically is a form of light detection. So basically, what that means is that the actual time-of-flight sensor that is on the camera, which I'll show you in a minute, that basically goes from the... I'm kind of stuttering here, but that goes from basically seeing how long the light reflects back to it. So it's kind of like a time sort of thing. So basically, that is really helpful for augmented reality and also depth mapping 3D objects. It's actually kind of what Face ID uses in the front cameras of, like, say, your iPhone 10 or above. It also, obviously, of course, has Face ID, has up to a terabyte of storage, and it has, obviously, support for Apple Pencil and Gen 2, and it has support for that new Magic Keyboard case, as well as the Smart Keyboard Folio, which you guys might know what that is. If not, I will show you guys, obviously. So that is a bit of a summary there, but let me now show you a more in-depth look at it. So this is obviously it from the side there, so kind of cool how that little animation there works. You obviously have another thing there, that's a USB-C port on the side there. So as you can see here, this is like just a little bit of a summary of it. There's Face ID. Those are the two sizes. This here is the new LiDAR sensor. So it will go through this in just a minute after I'm done scrolling here. So it stands for light detection and ranging. So I don't know why I forgot that at first, but yeah, that's what it stands for right there. And essentially what Apple is claiming here is that it's used by NASA on their Mars rovers to map the surface, which is really insanely cool. This technology is actually also used by self-driving cars as well, which is another very, very awesome thing. So props to Apple for integrating it into a device like an iPad. I mean, that's just insane, honestly. This is some great technology that will pioneer a lot of great stuff coming forward. But as you can see here, there's two little subsets here. There's two little sensors there in this one little housing. They each do their own respective things. And as you can see there, this is what the LiDAR sensor sees. So it's basically just a bunch of IR dots, kind of like how Face ID again works. So this is a very similar fashion to how Face ID basically works at its core, except now it's obviously on the back. Then obviously there's FaceTime, and there's the performance there. It's obviously faster than most PCs, which is amazing. And just an iPad has a pro workflow. You obviously have multitasking here as well, so you can have multiple apps side by side, which is insanely nice. And then this USB-C port charges your iPad Pro, which is also another amazing thing, because it frees up the other USB-C port on the other side of the iPad Pro, which is just awesome. And then obviously here for this keyboard case, for this new Magic Keyboard case, you have it to where it has a trackpad, and it also has illuminated keys, or backlit keys, which is a very useful thing. And then you now have a new cursor in iPadOS 13.4 as well, which is coming soon, by the way. But this is how it works. So you glide to an object like that, and it highlights it around basically what it is. So it's more of a thing that conforms to the actual menus, which is just brilliant, honestly. It's really brilliant. I think that it's a very good implementation in terms of software. And then you obviously have the Apple Pencil Gen 2, which is still amazing, has a 9 millisecond latency, which is not seen in anything else that can draw on something like this. That is not seen in anything else. A 9 millisecond response time is bananas, honestly. It's just crazy. And I've seen this for myself. It's just insane, honestly, in person. So obviously that is what that is there, and then they just advertise the rest of that there. But this is a little comparison if you guys just wanted to like pause the video for a second and just look at the specs and everything. But yeah, that's again like a little comparison there. But let me also show you here what the new keyboard case can essentially do. So obviously you have the Apple Pencil there, you have the new iPad Pro. This is the new keyboard case. So these are the different keyboards. There you have the new Magic Keyboard, you have the Smart Keyboard Folio, and you have the Smart Keyboard. So then the Smart Keyboard is compatible with the iPad Air 3rd generation, iPad 7th generation, and the iPad Pro 10.5 inch. Whereas the Smart Keyboard Folio is compatible with the iPad Pro 12.9 inch 3rd and 4th generations respectively, and then with the iPad Pro 11 inch 1st and 2nd generations respectively. Then you here have the iPad Pro 12.9 inch as well as the 3rd and 4th generations respectively for the Magic Keyboard, and then for the iPad Pro 11 inch it's compatible with the 1st and 2nd generations respectively. So that is a little summary there, and right now you can't actually unfortunately order this Magic Keyboard, but there is the price if you are concerned right there. This is, by the way, in the US. I obviously live in the US, so it is $300 here in the US for the regular 11-inch model, and for the 12.9-inch model it's $350. So a $50 increase. But, I mean, really, I know what you guys are going to say. It's a very expensive case, and yes, it indeed is, but for what you're paying for, in my opinion, I think it's well worth it. I think it is honestly well worth it, because you are getting an amazing keyboard from the 16-inch MacBook Pro. You're also getting those keys backlit, which is very, very nice, and you're getting trackpad support. And not only that, you're also getting an extra USB-C port, meaning that now you'll have two USB-C ports. One that's free on the iPad itself, and one that you just get as an extra. It's like a nice little perk. Now, obviously, many people are not going to pay this premium price considering what's going on right now. Not many people are even going to be buying this thing, unfortunately. I know I'm not. But I might consider getting one in the future. I'm going to consider it because it is going to enhance my workflow. So I might consider getting one of those in the future if I can. So basically, that is a summary of the new iPad Pro. Now, let's move on to the Mac Mini, the final thing in this video. So, the thing to talk about with the Mac Mini, the thing that they updated mainly in here is the storage. So, if you go here to the Buy tab, you will see that the storage here has been increased, as well as the specs. So, the specs have also been bumped up as well. And here it starts at 256 gigs, which is nice, and then they also have 512, all of that, yada yada. So basically, that is what has really changed here. Now, in terms of the price, I'm not too sure if that has changed that much, but I do know, though, that it starts at $800, which is pretty generous, if I'm being fair. $800 for a computer, for just the computer, is pretty generous. But see, the only downside with the Mac Mini is the fact that you need another you need an external display and you need an external keyboard if you want to use it as a full-time computer. What the Mac Mini is really good for is powering servers. Like, you can essentially daisy chain these things together and have them power massive servers. So it's really good for server use, I would say. Now, in terms of like just using it just like that, I mean, you would have to honestly get an external display and an external keyboard to use it as a computer, but I mean, it's not a deal breaker. I mean, $800 for just the computer is not bad. And that's starting price, by the way. That's not where it's fully configured. That's just starting price. But yeah, so essentially that is all there really is that is new that Apple decided to unveil yesterday. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video, and also remember to stay safe because of the coronavirus going on. Another reminder from my last video is to wash your hands for 20 seconds, and also, this is another sort of thing I also wanted to bring up, but if you have grandparents in your family that are like 50 years older, or 50 years or older, then if you honestly know you have the virus, stay away from them. Do not visit them, do not do anything like that. Now, I know that's obviously what people should not say when society is normal, and that you should visit your grandparents, but right now is not a great time to do that. And also, I mean, even if you don't have the virus, just don't visit your grandparents right now, because they're the most vulnerable people of everybody, even small toddlers too. Those people are also very vulnerable. So whatever you do, do not visit your grandparents right now. And also, if you can, at least as much as you can, stay inside. Do not go anywhere, because it will just not end well. But, I mean, that's to conclude this video, so if you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. Also, comment and subscribe if you're brand new and if you enjoy my channel. I look forward to making more videos soon for you guys. I know that I will have my next gameplay of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coming out very, very soon. I'm sorry that it's been a whole month since I've made one of those videos, but I know that will definitely be something that's on my priority list. And I will hopefully, when I'm recording this video, just after this, I'll actually most likely be recording it. So that is going to take a while to edit, but I'll get it done. So thanks for watching till the end, and I hope you all have a safe day or night wherever you are, and have a good day or night wherever you are in the world. So yeah, peace out.